Hello everyone and welcome to Barca News. It's November 10th, 2022 and it's reported that Robert Lewandowski could receive up to a 3-match ban after the red card he received in the Osasuna match. Also, a new option has emerged as a possible signing for Barcelona in the right back position, and we now know the price that could cost Barcelona to sign Dortmund sensation Moukoko. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and we'll begin with the news that Barcelona organized a farewell lunch yesterday for Gerard Pique, who is now retiring from football, and for all the players, since most of them will be leaving for the next month in order to join their international squads so they can participate in the 2022 Qatar World Cup. Now, Gerard Pique has given his first interview as a retired football player, and in this interview, he explained his decision to retire midway through the season. And in regards to his retirement, Gerard Pique said, "There were a lot of reasons for retiring, which I had been thinking about throughout the season. I spoke with Xavi at the start of the campaign, and he told me it would be difficult for me this year, but I wanted to give it a go. Last year had been good for me personally, but the sensations were not good in general. There were moments I thought about retiring earlier when I was not playing. After one game, I was doing the post-game session at Camp Nou for players that had not played, and I thought about going into the dressing room and calling it a day. In the end, with the injuries we had in defense, I delayed the decision, but now, with the World Cup break, felt like a good moment." Now, it's totally reasonable to see why Gerard Pique would think that he could be a starter on Xavi's team, despite Xavi telling him that he would not count on him this year, because after all, Gerard Pique did have a great season last season where he was a definitive starter and where he was the best center back on the squad, despite even playing with an injury towards the end of the season. Now, as weeks started to pass by, Gerard Pique finally noticed that he was Xavi's 5th pick and decided to retire, but because all the injuries that Barcelona have suffered with the injuries of Ronald Araujo, Jules Koundé, Andreas Christensen, and even Eric Garcia at one point, Gerard Pique decided to stay and help out the team. And now that the World Cup break has come, Gerard Pique has finally decided to retire from football and from Barcelona. Now, Gerard Pique also talked about the red card that he received during his final match at Osasuna, when he was red carded after following the referee into the tunnel and demanding explanations for his bad decisions. And as I reported in yesterday's video, the referee explained in his report that Gerard Pique had cussed him out and had told him that he would poop on his effing mother. Now, Gerard Pique denied making those statements, and he explained, "I went to talk to him about various moments in the game, saying that he had screwed us, and at the moment he sent me off. I had not said anything else at that moment, and he dismissed me. His report is not right. I did not insult him or anything. Then once sent off, I go into the dressing room, which is next to the referee's dressing room, and a teammate shouts the phrase that is in his report. And the referee hears that next door, and he puts the words in my mouth." Now, Gerard Pique also talked about how he doesn't believe that there's some kind of conspiracy in La Liga to screw over Barcelona with the refereeing decisions and favor Real Madrid. And he actually said that the big clubs such as Barcelona and Real Madrid should not be complaining about refereeing, because referees usually favor bigger clubs against smaller teams. Now, I do agree with Gerard Pique, and it's something that I've talked about a lot in my previous videos, where I've said that I don't really think that there's some kind of conspiracy in football to make Real Madrid win these matches. If I did, I wouldn't bother watching, because why would I want to watch a sport where the results are already predetermined? And I think that all the bad decisions that Barcelona have been receiving in their matches in this season are due to the mediocrity of refereeing in Spain, and I really think that La Liga should be doing something to fix this, because it's absolutely unacceptable to have such mediocrity in one of the top football leagues in the world, and especially during the age of the VAR. Now, speaking of refereeing, it's reported that Robert Lewandowski could receive up to a 3-match ban after receiving a red card in the match against Osasuna. Now, Robert Lewandowski was expelled during the first half after receiving 2 consecutive yellow cards, and per the rules, that's an automatic 1-match ban, but it's reported that he could receive an additional 2-match bans because of his gesture when he was expelled, where he touched his nose and pointed at the referee, which has been interpreted that Robert Lewandowski was saying that the referee Gil Manzano was being arrogant. Now, the final decision in regards to Robert Lewandowski's ban is expected to come out tomorrow, Friday, November 11th, and if Robert Lewandowski receives this 3-match ban, there will be a huge blow for Barcelona, because their 3 next matches will be difficult ones, starting with the derby against Espanyol, followed by a match against Atletico de Madrid, and then against Real Betis. Now, as I reported in yesterday's video, Robert Lewandowski received his golden shoe yesterday for being the top scorer in Europe's leagues last season. And during the ceremony, Robert Lewandowski took the time to explain his gesture, and he said that prior to the match, Xavi had spoken to him and told him to be careful about receiving yellow cards. And since he ended up receiving 2 during the first half, he made that signal and it was directed towards Xavi as referencing the conversation that they had before the match. Now, if La Liga does end up imposing a 3-match ban against Robert Lewandowski, I think it'd be very hypocritical on their part, because Real Madrid's coach Carlos Ancelotti made some statements after their defeat against Rayo Vallecano, where he said during a press conference that the referee had made up a penalty against them, and yet La Liga has decided not to impose any bans on Ancelotti or fine him at all. So if La Liga does decide to impose that 3-match ban on Robert Lewandowski, they'd be sending a very mixed signal that says that someone cannot express their disapproval of the referee with gestures, but they can express their disapproval with the referee in words, which absolutely makes no sense. Now, on to the news that Frenkie de Jong has made it clear once again that he wants to remain in Barcelona, and that his dream is to remain at the Catalan club. Now, it's reported that Manchester United are still interested in signing Frenkie de Jong, and it's also reported that the Dutch midfielder has informed Erik ten Hag that he wants to remain in Barcelona and he has no intention in leaving the club. Now, Frenkie de Jong has reportedly also informed Barcelona's director of football, Matteo Alemany, that he wants to remain in Barcelona and that he's not looking to leave in the winter or next summer. And it's also reported that the relationships between the club and the player have drastically improved since the summer when Barcelona attempted to offload Frenkie de Jong. Now, given this improved relationships between the club and the player, it's reported that Frenkie de Jong is now open to renegotiating his contract and bringing his salary down, given that he is the highest paid player on the squad and he is the highest paid player in La Liga as a whole, and he's also earning way more than what the strict pay scale that Joan Laporta has implemented, which says that no player could earn more than 10 million euros at Barcelona. Now, speaking of Manchester United, it's reported that there's an offer on the table from them in regards to Memphis Depay, and as I reported in a previous video, Memphis Depay has requested from Barcelona that he be allowed to leave the club for free this winter transfer market. Now, Barcelona are reportedly not willing to allow Memphis Depay leave for free because he has a very good market value, and Barcelona expect that Memphis Depay's market value could even increase more after the World Cup, which is when a lot of players' value increases if they perform well in the international competition. Now, it's reported that Manchester United want to sign Memphis Depay, especially if he ends up leaving Barcelona for free, and they are willing to pay some money, but only up to 20 million euros since he is not their main priority. Now, if Memphis Depay insists on leaving Barcelona as a free agent, it's reported that the club could consider keeping him until the summer, when he'd be able to leave as a free agent upon the expiration of his contract. Now, on to the news that Barcelona are considering not signing a left-footed center back to replace Gerard Pique, and instead having Marcos Alonso fill that position. Now, Marcos Alonso was signed so he can fill the left back position, but given all the injuries that Barcelona have had, Marcos Alonso has played several matches in the center back position, and it's reported that Barcelona are very content with the player's performance in that position. Now, as a result, Barcelona are now considering saving money, and instead of signing a left-footed center back, instead of having Marcos Alonso fill that position. And as I reported previously, the club have already agreed to extend Marcos Alonso's contract for 2 more years past the expiration of the summer of 2023, because they consider Marcos Alonso as an asset, given the versatility of the player, where he can play as a fullback, wingback, and as a center back. Now, I personally have been very happy with Marcos Alonso's performance as a center back, but I would like to hear from you, so please make sure to drop a comment down below giving me your thoughts and opinions about Marcos Alonso being Barcelona's left-footed center back. Now, speaking of left backs, it's reported that Barcelona are very close to completing the contract extension of Alejandro Balde. Now, as I reported previously, Balde's contract will expire with Barcelona in the summer of 2024, and Barcelona have stated that Alejandro Balde is #1 in line to extend his contract with the club. Now, Barcelona are currently negotiating with Balde's agent, Jorge Mendes, and it's reported that the club want to extend Balde's contract from 2024 until 2027. They want to add a 500 million euro release clause, and they're going to give Alejandro Balde a first-team salary where he's going to be making close to what Gavi and Ronald Araujo are currently making. Now, Jorge Mendes has informed Barcelona that there are several big offers for Alejandro Balde, especially from clubs in the Premier League. However, the player has made it very clear that he wants to remain in Barcelona, and it's reported that Balde could be signing his contract renewal before the end of the year unless he's called up to the World Cup by Spain's coach Luis Enrique. Now, from the players who are currently at the club, we move on to the players who could be arriving in Barcelona, starting with the Argentinian midfielder Enzo Fernandez. Now, Fernandez signed with Benfica this past summer transfer market, and even though he's only spent a few months with the Portuguese club, he has made a huge impact in the Portuguese league, so much so that he has caught the attention of Barcelona and many of the major European clubs. Now, Enzo Fernandez will reportedly prioritize an offer from Barcelona, but the club have yet to make an offer for the Argentinian midfielder, who they are considering as a possible replacement for Sergio Busquets. Now, Barcelona had the chance to sign Enzo Fernandez before he joined Benfica. However, the club decided to pass on him, and as a result, he signed for Benfica for as low as 10 million euros. And given the huge impact that he has made so far, it's reported that Benfica are going to ask for around 60 to 70 million euros for the Argentinian midfielder. Now, on to the news that a new option has emerged as a possible signing for the right back position, and that option is Malo Gusto. Now, Gusto is a 19-year-old right back who currently plays for the Ligue 1 club Lyon, and it's reported that Barcelona scouts are very impressed with the young player, and they think that the characteristics that he has would make him a great fit for Barcelona. Now, it's reported that Lyon are gonna want around 40 million euros for Malo Gusto, so this will most likely make him a third or fourth option for Barcelona, given that the club have more affordable options ahead of Malo Gusto, including Diogo Dalot, who could arrive in Barcelona for free, Arnau Martinez, who could arrive for around 15 to 20 million euros, and also Juan Foyth, who, even though he has a 40 million euro release clause, Barcelona are confident that they can negotiate that release clause down with Villarreal. Now, on to the news that now we know how much Moukoko could cost Barcelona. Now, as I've discussed previously, Youssouf Moukoko is a 17-year-old striker who currently plays with Dortmund, and his contract will expire with the Bundesliga club in the summer of 2023. Now, Moukoko is one of the biggest sensations of Europe, and he's considered a future rising star in European football, and as a result, there are several clubs interested in obtaining the services of the young player. Now, the player has yet to make a decision on whether he wants to renew his contract with Dortmund or whether he wants to search for a new club, and it's reported that he's currently requesting around 70 million euro salary plus bonuses, and Barcelona have estimated that it would cost him 30 million euros to sign the Dortmund sensation. Now, in my opinion, that's a really good price for a young player who has a lot of projection and a big future ahead of him. So I really think Barcelona should consider signing Youssouf Moukoko for 30 million euros. Now, another striker that Barcelona are currently interested in is, of course, the Brazilian player Endrick, who all the major European clubs are currently after. Now, Endrick has made some pretty interesting statements as of late, saying that he's not focused on all the other clubs such as Barcelona, Madrid, or PSG, and that his only focus is his current club, which is Palmeiras. Now, Endrick will not be able to make a jump to Europe until he turns 18 in 2024, and it's now being reported that the player is considering staying an extra year in Brazil, as several members of his entourage are advising him against making a jump to Europe too early. Now, Barcelona are keen on signing Endrick, but as I've reported previously, that if they had to choose between Endrick and Moukoko, Barcelona prefer signing Moukoko, given that the Dortmund striker has already proved himself in European football, where Endrick is yet to do that. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I would like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I would like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all the latest news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video, and as always, Visca Barça.